Hello guys, welcome in Unified IT Solution. So today topic is what are the Splunk responsibilities and their workload. So there are many questions come to me that they wanted to interested into the Splunk admin profile, and so what are the things that Splunk admin have to take care of in the environment and their responsibility. So let's discuss today. So I have collected most of all the topic that Splunk admin required, like to become a Splunk admin, that you should have a knowledge on that, and once you are admin, so that those are your responsibilities. So let's start. So a Splunk administrator involve managing configuration Splunk environment and ensure that system run smoothly, optimizing performance. And here are some key topics for Splunk administrator. So we'll discuss some of the key topics now, and the main responsibility and duties of Splunk admin to manage overall Splunk cluster environment and make sure it runs smoothly. So the first thing, the architecture and deployment model. So Splunk admin have to be rectify whether it's required in environment single deployment, distributed deployment, cluster deployment, or indexed tier. So this single deployment, like single instance of deployment, deploy the Splunk on a single instance and you can use of it. Distributed environment involve multiple Splunk component including indexer, search head, forwarder management, nodes. Cluster deployment like high availability, scalability, fault toleration using indexer, cluster, and search heads. And indexer tier, like understanding how indexing is handled, include the concept of hot, warm, bucket. So all these Splunk admin duty to define their configuration for overall indexer. And then data indexing and data management, like what are the data input, configure various data input like network, syslog. Indexing pipeline, manage the life cycle of event as a flow through parsing, indexing, and storage. Indexing setting, like adjusting configuration for indexing such as index.conf file, setting for data retention, indexing volume, and event parsing. These all bucket, hot, warm, cold, thaw bucket all will be part of index.conf file. Data retention and deletion, like when data will be automatically delete or archive, so that setting also admin responsibility inside the index.conf file. Cluster indexing, like setting up, managing indexer cluster for redundancy and scalability, like setting up of replication factor, search factor. Okay, if you have multi-site cluster, so how that multi-site cluster will work, what should be the origin, like number of origin to set per site, so that, and according to the set the site replication. So all this responsibility of the cluster admin, Splunk admin. Search ad cluster management. So search ad managing a search ad for load balancing a failover. So this is also part of the cluster apart from the indexer clustering. So search ad cluster and search peer, configure search head to peer with indexing to distribute searching. Resource management, like you can limit some parameter inside the limit.conf file to optimize search performance by adjusting maximum search. So overall search ad cluster management also part of Splunk admin duties and responsibilities. Forwarding data, like type of data, like understanding how universal forwarder, heavy forwarder to collect the data and define their setting and policies for forwarder, and filtering and routing, what data need to be route to the Splunk, what data should send it to indexing queue, what data should send it to the null queue. So that routing, filtering, and like masking that security data, so that all part of the Splunk admin duties and responsibilities. User role and management. So this is also one of the most important responsibilities or the key into the Splunk, that what user authentication methods should be LDAP or AD or SAML, so that need to be defined. And rollback access, creating managing role to control user access to data, apps, and feature in Splunk. User permission, setting up permission for role including search, data indexing, and configuration management. So what users should have which index access, so that all be managed, and what authentication tool should be configured into the Splunk, so that need to be taken care by the Splunk admin. Splunk app and add-on, like what app or add-on is really required, that only should be installed over search ad and indexer. So we should not use the add-on, we should not install any unnecessary apps, so it will again increase the load and decrease the performance of the system. So make sure Splunk admin will only install app and add-on which are really required, and if there are requirement of custom app, then definitely he should be able to create the custom app via any CC framework, or might be the add-on builder you can use. Monitoring and performance tuning, so this is a very important key that admin should be keep in mind, like monitoring the health of the overall system. So he should create automatic process or process that could be follow, or uh, the document that could be followed by the other team member on daily basis. And performance tuning, if there are any performance optimization is required, so it should be check periodically, what periodically if the system is running fine, if no, what are the steps need to be should be taken to improve the performance of the system. Indexers such as load balancing, and so make sure that you have a, if you have increased the data of indexing, make sure you have the enough search chat to handle the search request, and enough indexer to response to the search, so that workload should be distributed across the node. So that is also make sure. So this is a part of performance tuning. Log diagnostic, like analyzing Splunk log for troubleshoot issue. So that is make sure Splunk D log and matrix logs are coming into the Splunk. Licensing part, to manage the license violation and license pooling. So these are three topics, so I'll just give it a little brief here. So licensing, nothing but to control that you are under the license. Let's suppose you have 500 GB of that per day GB license, so make sure you are not violating the license, so you and all your data indexing is under your license, otherwise it will create the license violation, and after some certain warning it will stop the searching, not indexing. Okay, so that is also responsibility, and which license is going to expire on which date, maybe license is going to expire after 15 days. So make sure before that admin responsibility that it should have some alert, so that should be replaced with the new license or upgrade with the new license on the before the time it got expire. System security and encryption, so make sure some security SSL or TSL configuration should be enabled in your system. Data encryption, wherever required data encryption, so that should be configured properly while transition or indexing. Audit log, monitor and managing the audit log for security and compliance purpose. And Splunk security essential, using built-in app like Splunk security initial app or additional security feature. So that make sure these some point should be keep in mind while it's a matter of Splunk security, Splunk environment secure to be secure. Backup and disaster recovery, so make sure you have a good plan in case of good plan of backup, good plan of disaster recovery. So make sure uh, you are taking the backup on some periodically, daily or weekly or monthly, and you all your backup are safe, and you have the disaster recovery plan should be ready. So if any an incident happen, and so where you have to required, so make sure your backup is always healthy and safe, and it's you have the ready process to be for recovery of your system. That procedure should be keep and ready. Splunk deployment server, also the deployment server should be set up properly, and it's all connected to your universal forward, and make sure always it's up to the version, and all their other forwarders should be connected. Make sure there should not be unnecessary wildcards should be used in your server class file, and the uh, creating managing apps to deploy configuration across the environment. Make sure you don't create unnecessary apps, so it will create load, and unnecessary system should be connected to the deployment. What are the system are really required to pull the logs, those system only should be connected to the deployment server. Last but not least, troubleshooting and debugging. So Splunk admin is one of the major responsibility. Any indexing issue, any search issue, any cluster issue, any system resource issue, that should be taken care by the Splunk admin only. Either it's related to indexing, searched cluster, either it's relating to CPU, memory, disk. So all should be taken care by. Might be there are required other team intervention, like this issue, this space is not available, so in that case might be required a system administrator. But it should be a responsibility of Splunk admin that he should able to identify the issue, and he should be able to rectify the issue, and once that issue is resolved, he should be able to validate the issue. So those are the most of the responsibility that Splunk admin should be capable to this. There are other certain activities like data onboarding, all this. So these are these are the some additional activities that Splunk admin should be aware of this, and day to day, like they need to perform as well. But the major overall Splunk admin responsibilities and duties to manage the entire infrastructure and make sure it's up and run smoothly and there is no issue. If there is issue, it should be capable to troubleshoot and debugging the issue. So maybe next video I will create what are the responsibility of Splunk developer, what should you know to become a Splunk developer. And yeah, so thank you guys, and kindly subscribe, like our channel, and let us know if you want to create any video on specific topic.